Indeed, it does. 1-1 here at Selhurst Park. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Reaction from both dressing rooms as and when we get it. I want to really talk about the sort of Crystal Palace approach generally, though. We'll have a look at the goal in just a moment. But we've got a team that have played against 10 men for half an hour here. Is there any way of changing the style of play and doing it successfully? They tried it under Alan Pardew and it didn't work. They tried it under De Boer and it didn't work. Is this the only answer for Palace?
No, this is not the only answer. This is the answer, the road they're going down. You know, changing the styles might not happen overnight. If you got a manager, or if Roy decides we're going to start being expansive and opening up the play and we're going to get all our number 10s on the pitch, if Roy decided to do that, it won't happen overnight, because there's a mindset that's ingrained in players at this club where it's two banks of four, or a 4 and a 5, and you defend and you take pride in your defending. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the road they're going down. But when you come to a game when you have 25 minutes against 10 men, against an Arsenal side who were on the ropes a little bit at that time, they start the second half well. That's when they didn't have the capability to really open up the pitch and play, because it's just not the personality and the mindset, and they haven't got the personnel to do it. So if they do decide to go down that road, you have to turn the whole club that way.
And they're building off foundations of being two banks of 4, being defensive, men behind the ball. And as I said at half-time, I do feel for Ayew playing up front on his own there, because it's so difficult with the 3 defence-minded midfield players and not much support. But having said that, like you say, they've brought De Boer in, who was playing expansive football, and look what happened. You know, Roy Hodgson's got them playing. At times, it's not always the most attractive to watch, but he's getting results. He's staying in games, and by the end, they could have even nicked that game.
I'm sure you can relate to Ayew's feelings right now. So he's sort of toiled out there, isolated quite a lot of the time. And like he said to us at the end, and we'll see the goal now, he is claiming that goal regardless. I guess when you play in a system like that and you still are the guy that makes the difference, it feels great.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Listen, you've got to be aware of that one chance that you get, because you won't get many chances playing this Palace side. I played in a similar side at Stoke, where you had backs to the walls. There's a lot of defensive, and when that one chance comes, I know he's got a little bit fortunate there. You have to take it, and I have to say, he deserved that today, just from his endeavour, his work ethic. He stuck to the task, although it was frustrating.
He's a runner. He can score wonder goals like he scored a few weeks ago when he beat the keeper, and he'll keep at it. He's a good attitude, like he's a willing runner. But it isn't ideal. They won't create lots of chances the way they play, and that won't change. And he's got 5 goals this year now. If Jordan Ayew gets to 10 goals, he would have done fantastic within this system, because there's not enough around them in the attacking setup of play where they will create chances. And the stats don't lie. It's not a criticism, it's an observation. They've created the least chances in the Premier League. And you know, and if it's simple numbers, they won't score the goals. But defensively, they're so good, from the front man or Ayew right the way through to the goalkeeper.
During the ad break, Joe sat here and said, oh, I guess we'll talk about VAR again then. And I think we will talk about VAR. And Peter Walton is part of our team. But Peter, I suppose, just as an overview of the day, really, when you take a look at the red card decision, VAR also had a look at a potential elbow and a potential handball in the box, another potential incident in the box. I don't think any of us could argue with the decisions that VAR came to today. So, a good day?
Yes, it was a good day, and it proved the worth of VAR in today's game. You know, we've seen many incidents in that game where VAR has had a look at it, and there can't be too much argument afterwards by either parties the decisions that it came to.
Isn't this a perfect situation, though, where a referee has missed what is a red card and VAR just sorts it out, even if it did take a couple of minutes?
Yeah, we can see here for the pictures here, Paul Tierney, the referee, clearly sees this as a reckless trip on Max Meyer. In fact, the fourth official in the background just raises his hand to his mouth to advise him of that such. But when you see it from the other angles that the VAR has, as we can see here, you can clearly see where does that challenge happen. It occurs just above his ankle. There's a potential there from a breaking leg point of view, and also the intensity. So although Aubameyang may argue his case, he didn't mean to do that, and Paul Tierney quite rightly sees it as a trip, when you see it from the VAR angles, yes, it's a red card. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Can you argue?
No, I completely agree with you, P. I've been on the end of a few of them tackles myself. They'll be sore in the morning. But do you know what I was very surprised with in this situation? If you look at the Crystal Palace bench, there was no reaction. Do you think that's a direct thing from where they're happy to let it happen and let VAR sort it? Because if that happened in front of one of the benches I've played for, everyone would have been up trying to influence the referee. Yeah, are the referees getting less less trying to be influenced.
Yeah, I agree with that, Joe. But the one thing for me was the fourth official who stood maybe a yard or so away from the action. He saw what the benches saw, and that was potentially a trip on their player. I don't think the benches saw the replays that we've seen subsequently that clearly shows it endangered his safety. So maybe they was a bit more chilled out and relaxed about it. I don't know. But going back to your point, I do think the benches realise that nowadays the game will be sorted by VAR if the referee misses something.
Very good, Peter. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. One of the other things that we should mention is that it was clearly shown on the big screen to the fans here, and that is making a tangible difference in the stadiums. But there is still some way to go, I think, to convince football fans that VAR is the right thing. I mean, this was a banner that was held up by the Palace fans. There was another one as well that said killing passion, killing atmosphere and killing the game. Yet half an hour later, they're cheering this red card, and at one point, when there was the potential penalty with the handball in the box, the Palace fans were actively chanting for VAR.
Well, they went the right end of it today, Palace fans. Like you say, that tackle was reckless. It was endangering a player's career, really. And I'm not saying Aubameyang is that type of player. I think it might have been accidental, but it's reckless and it's endangering him. So he had to go. And I think VAR, as you mentioned, it was a good day for it today. I think the West Ham might have a different view of it last night.
But the thing with West Ham last night was that was the law of the game is not necessarily right. VAR is interpreting the law.
That's the problem for me. That handball law and the offsides. I don't want to see people's heels and drawing lines. It infuriates me. I hate watching it. The fans don't like seeing it. But on the flip side of that, VAR's worked today.
It's an interesting one, though, because when VAR gets something wrong or we have a heel offside by that much or a handball incident, it's trending on Twitter, it's discussed everywhere, everyone shares the clips and the videos. When a correct decision is made on a good day for VAR like this, it doesn't create the headlines. So you almost get a skewed view of whether it's successful or not.
There's definitely a skewed view on it. You're right. Every time it goes wrong, it's everywhere, ain't it? But today it was right. It's a bad tackle. It was a worthy red card. The kid Maya could have got himself seriously hurt. Luckily, fortunately, he looks like he's going to be okay. But the thing for me was, forget VAR. I think Palace will see this as a missed opportunity by not having the ability within their attacking passing game to break Arsenal down after that. But the VAR decision was correct.
My problem with VAR is when you have a decision where both sets of players, both sets of fans are happy with the goal, we celebrate the goal, and then it gets pulled back for something that we can't see, we might not be able to see, we just about make it out, and then we disallow a goal. That's my issue with it.
It's not perfect, is it? It's absolutely a work in progress, and we'll see what gets changed ahead of next season. It's difficult mid-season, isn't it? Right, let's get some reaction from...
The first 35 minutes, I think, is exactly what I want from our Arsenal team to play like. We were at it, we were very dominant, we controlled the game, and we were in the right position, we created chances, we were so good in the transition. We were aggressive. After that, we had 10 minutes to spare where we started to give some free kicks away, and obviously they put everybody in the box and it's more a stop-start. But I was really pleased with the first half. Then the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, again, credit to them as well, because they pushed, started to put balls in the box, they started to throw men up front, and we had more difficulties. We conceded the goal where we switched off completely, and it's unacceptable, and I'm really upset with that. But I think after that, again, we reacted very well after conceding the goal, and after Oba's red card, we were the team that I expected because everybody was at it again.
What did you make of that red card and the VAR verdict?
I haven't seen it, but for what I've said, I think it was a harsh challenge. Obviously, knowing Nova, there is no intention at all to do it, but maybe he mistimed it.
And of course, he'll get a 3-game ban by that.
I don't know. Let's see what the decision is.
So the first half you started well, and you got the goal, and you were ahead. So why did the concentration slip?
I don't think it was concentration. You have an opponent here that to control them for 90 minutes here is impossible. Every time they have bodies in the box, they want to put the ball with the goalkeeper down to the box, and you have to defend the situation. But to come here and control the game the way we did and play the way we did, I was very pleased with.
Is Torreira an injury? What's happened there?
It looks like it. He had to come off at half-time. I don't know, we have to check with the doctor, but it looks like it, yeah.
And do you feel you're learning something every day from these games, even the setbacks? You're learning things about your team?
Yes, and I've seen reactions as well that are very positive, because today we had, obviously was very disappointed the way we conceded the goal. We reacted really well straight away, and the same with Oba's red card.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you very much.
For all the positives, and we had a long 15 minutes before the game about the impact he's had at Arsenal, that is one win in their last 4 Premier League games.
I know, but we can't get into the business with young managers coming to a massive club like this and expecting it to just turn around. It's great when it does. I'm looking at it from a tactical perspective. I think there's clear differences in the team. I think there's been improvements. I think they've been unlucky in certain games. I think the biggest challenge for him, like we said, is sorting out all of the stuff that goes, not actually on the pitch, it's all the stuff around it. Can they get that to change the mindset of Arsenal? Because the conceding of the goal today was the sloppiness that we've seen for the last years with Arsenal. You know, and that will take a while to get ironed out, because that's players' mentality. Like he said himself, he's furious with it because they switched off. You know, and they've been switching off. And you can't just turn these players on to being defensively astute straight away. He might need to bring a few bodies in, a few good characters, and work with a back four, work with a goalkeeper and get them a bit more solid. But I think it's been a positive start for him. I know the results ain't gone great, but I can see signs.